1039. Jason's political crisis. J6 news updates and chat. Got some company to do this today. How y'all doing? Good Docs and Grandma.
What's up? What's up?
How
we doing?
David Valentine from the Freedom Express Media with us today. Gonna get a chat going with y'all. Back outside, no more garage videos. It's good to be back outside, dude. You guys are living the dream here, man.
It is nice out here. It's really nice. I love it out here. Honestly, it's
living the dream, man. Patriot freedom fighting right here. This is how you do it. This is how you do it the right way, I think.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier this way, isn't it? What's up, Freedom Express Media? Docs and Grandma's got the split screen going there.
Yep.
All right, yeah. So we're gonna do a dual broadcast here.
Didn't see you hiding back there. I'm back here.
Hey, Deb for Freedom, how you doing? We got another Patriot in camp here too. Or actually, I'm in their camp. What's up, Stormtrooper?
Eagles Loft.
Eagles Loft Campground. So this is a nice spot you guys got here.
Yeah, I really love it. It's
damn nice. Yep, we got them going on. All right, so we'll get right in on it, man.
Let's do it.
In case you missed it, Freedom Corner last night, Friday. Actually, I watched the Northern Night Vigil, so maybe you could fill us in on.
We had a really good vigil last night. They're from Vietnam, right? Yeah. They're from Vietnam. I don't remember his name. Dovin, I think was his name.
Coven.
Okay.
Yeah.
Spoke about a story about a little girl with a sweet potato, and the guy, shot her, I guess, with the AK-47 and went and took the food out of her mouth and ate it. Like, that's just.
This was over in Vietnam.
Yeah.
He was a boy.
Right. Well, I think he was older then. I think that was a different story. But there's a couple different stories.
It's one of the worst stories I've ever heard.
Yeah.
And yeah, Deb for Freedom's got a 2-part video out on it. Roger did one on Stormtrooper also. It's a horrific story of what's coming to this country right now. These people lived it. They know exactly what happened over there. They moved to America to be free of that, and these folks see it coming here now.
Yeah.
And it's horrible. It's absolutely horrible.
It really is.
And Patriots, you got to hear it. You got to hear it, man. Here we are on Veterans Day. We got, my grandpa died fighting for this country. Roger fought for this country. Veterans all over the place. Sherry, she fought for this country. We're standing up for this country, and there is bad stuff in the pipeline for America right now, unless we stand up right now. We're not going to sit around and wait for Trump to do it. We got to take accountability for it ourselves too.
Right. Absolutely.
Might not have time for waiting on Trump.
Right.
You don't know what's going to happen in the next year.
Yeah, man.
You got a year to. Jeez.
We got a year. Are we going to make it a year?
Well, that's what I'm saying. There's a whole year.
Right.
Who knows what else they got up their sleeve?
If the first 3 years was any, inkling of what's going to happen this next year, and then they got to dig the election again somehow. So,
excuse me.
This isn't just Trump's job here.
That's Americans' job.
This is our job, right? Americans.
It's your duty as an American citizen.
We the people be the people.
That's why.
Right.
Like we the people. It doesn't say President Trump. It says we the people.
That's right. We the people. Got to take care of it. This is our country. Things have been going wrong for us, though. There's too many secrets out there now. We vote. We tell who we vote for who runs this country.
Right.
And if we don't know who went to Epstein Island, you want to vote for a guy from Epstein Island?
No.
You want to vote for a guy from Epstein Island? I don't want to vote for a guy from Epstein Island.
I don't even want a woman either.
How are we supposed to vote intelligently if the FBI is keeping all these secrets from them?
Right.
If we know that the CIA killed Kennedy, all right, and then George Bush worked for the CIA, did any one of you guys vote for George Bush Sr.? And if it turns out the CIA killed Kennedy or facilitated somebody else to kill Kennedy, we all just voted for the guy that took Kennedy,
Right.
basically.
Right.
And that information was re-hidden by Joe Biden, by FJB. I won't even say his name anymore, dude.
Let's call him Sleepy Joe.
Sleepy Joe. That's almost too nice.
Or Diaper Joe, one or the other.
Yeah. So yeah, FJB restashed the JFK files. They were supposed to be released. They put a 60-year or 70-year or more than 60-year thing on it. And we're all supposed to find out what was in there. There is people that know what's in there, but they don't get those videos get taken down all the time, and it's censorship. The government's been suppressing information on Twitter, and that's all the information that's out there. The American public, the American voter, has to have the information to make intelligent vote. That's my point.
Right.
You know, how can we? And that might be one of the problems that we have right now.
Yeah,
because we have not been able to vote intelligently. Even if you took the whole rigged election issue off the table, still we couldn't vote intelligently.
No.
If they're hiding the information from us. And now we got this other brothel service in the DC area.
Yeah.
That got to know who's on that list. These are compromised people. This is how you compromise our elected officials, and it's obvious a lot of them are compromised.
Yes, they are.
So they're not fighting for us. They're not working for us. They're working for themselves. They just gave themselves another raise.
$32,000.
Did you hear that, dude?
$32,000.
$32,000 raise.
Oh, I'd like to make $32,000 this year.
How many hearings did they have on that? You know, did debate that for 9 months, like releasing the J6 tapes? We're still not there. But no, they want to raise. Boom, it's there.
I would love to have $32,000.
And they got a new $300 million facility that's recommended to go in over at Greenbelt.
Yeah.
They're going to build that out at Greenbelt.
I don't know about that campground, but the area somewhere.
They're stalking us.
They're following us.
No way.
Yeah, and Virginia's upset because they don't want to lose the FBI, and Maryland, you know, they're excited because they're going to have the FBI headquarters there, and blah 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 blah.
And 70 Republicans voted for that.
Right.
That isn't just the normal 20.
And then
70 of them jumped in on it.
It's not even going to cost 30. It's going to cost probably 5 times as much as what they did.
Yeah. I thought 200 million was low. Headquarters.
Super low.
Bigger than the Pentagon.
The Commanders play cost $1 billion.
Right.
Play football.
Yeah, right, man. It's crazy, man. Crazy.
What else we got?
So we got well, I'll just go over Northern Neck real quick, man. Northern Neck Patriots are still putting a good visual out there every Friday night. And they had some broadcast problems, man. But yeah, you didn't have any of that one.
No, when I was there, I was trying to tell him to move. But he needs to get a new eagle. New tripod.
Yeah.
Once you move his, it falls down.
Oh, really?
You know, so when you move a little bit, you catch sometimes a
Right.
better stream.
Right.
And kept on telling him that was one of the problems that he doesn't foresee, that need to move that thing.
Well, and Tom's trying to run the stream and MC the whole thing and take the phone calls. and they're not a good vigil though, man. They had Chris Quaglin called him, Jeff Sable called him. Jeff Sable went through a whole history of his incarceration there. He was in a spot in Northern Neck Jail. He says it's the worst. It was the worst. When he got to DC, he thought, that was a cushy spot after being in Northern Neck for so long. He was in a pod, the K pod, and he said he was the J6er in there. They had child molesters in there. He had a good J6 debate with fellow Christians in that prison who just can't see the truth about what happened on J6, and they debated it though, man to man, and they didn't start hurling insults at each other just because they were Christians. All right, they knew they believe in Jesus. All right, so you can't attack a brother, right? You must hear him out. If you're on the same page with that, you got to listen to your brothers. And they had Jeff Sable talked about having a big J6 multi-day J6 debate with these guys. Jeff Sable also they were honoring veterans yesterday at the Northern Neck Vigil, but Jeff Sable is not a veteran. He worked for the military as a subcontractor. He's a geophysicist.
Yeah.
Something like that. That's one of those big ones.
Yeah, and he almost got killed twice, he said, but he says he will not take any credit for being a veteran. He was a subcontractor when he worked for the military, but still, man, he's fighting for the country now, and he's a hero right now.
Yep.
Dude's in jail for standing up for us on J6 against a fraudulent election.
Absolutely.
And then Jeff also talked about how the punishments don't scale. A lady attacks people with a knife, and hurts police officers and gets 40 months in jail. These guys are getting, 20 years in jail, 18, 15 years.
October 18th, we just set an insurrection into the Capitol and the Ravensville.
Yeah, and nobody.
One guy got arrested. He wasn't even.
Right.
He was downtown. He spraying something from the cops decided. I don't know.
And then the White House, they vandalized the White House. They were crawling all over that fence at the White House last week.
Painting,
they put paint on.
Disgusting.
Yeah. So there is the two-tiered justice, two-tiered law enforcement is for everyone to see. You literally got to plug your ears, close your eyes, and go la 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 la, so you don't see it. It's there. You have to hide from the truth now.
Yeah,
this is where we are. Are we going to wait another year? Now that we all know the truth, it's all coming out. We're going to wait another year till they can try to bag another election on us with cheating. Look at all the cheating that just happened in the election last Tuesday, man. It's still happening in Pennsylvania, in Connecticut. The cheating is still going on.
Yes,
See who we got in here now.
We got,
how many you got there, David?
51.
51.
Exxon, Jamie, Deborah, Lee Bart, Genji, Sherry Thomas, Tammy Green, M. Buffy. Hey, thank you, M. Buffy. I did get your item that you sent me a few days ago. Thank you so much for that. That's going to come in use, I believe. Kimberly, Deborah, Lee Bart, Faith of Fear, Nova, Darla Dunham, ACB. Got quite a few. Jenny Maddox.
This is high tech here, man. This is how David. This is how intelligent people do this broadcasting thing, man.
I didn't have my little phone.
I know, man. Me and Roger, one finger in it. David's got the whole setup, man. You guys are doing awesome, man. You guys are both like just putting information out there. People are starving for information right now, I think. Julius Vizzi, how you doing? New York City, they attacked police and vandalized after their Free Palestine march. What were you saying about there's a Israel
That's
March
on
coming
Tuesday,
up,
right?
Yeah, on
Wednesday.
14th,
14th.
14th.
pro
Well, that's
Israel
going to be
March.
interesting.
Yeah, it should be. Definitely wanted to go down there and try to see what's going on down there. As long as there's not too much stuff going on and pro-Palestinians come out and try to start stuff, that's going to be what's going to be interesting to see.
Will they get violent?
Will they come out? Will they be violent? Will they, escalate things to?
Yeah.
As I know that I have a feeling that things are going to start escalating. It's not going to just stay peaceful the way that it has. It's going to escalate and cause problems, and we'll see if anybody ever gets held accountable, and I don't believe they will.
Well, I just think they're trying to see how far they can go before something actually will happen to them.
Yeah, Kathy, it's actually really good.
They're inside the Capitol. They're inside the Rayburn building. They're inside the White House.
Yeah.
If that would have happened on January 6th, we would have had martial law. So
they were throwing things over the fence at the White House.
Water bottles,
throwing flagpoles at them.
That are weapons.
Yeah.
The J6s.
They were rattling the fence.
I went down the following day and did a video on all the vandalism and stuff. It was just hard to believe that that's happening. I asked the Secret Service there. I was like, "So did anybody get arrested?" "Oh no, there's somebody down the road at for breaking a window or something." So you're allowed to vandalize. He said you can't arrest anybody when there's 30,000 people, and that threw me off because not all 30,000 people are the ones climbing and defacing stuff. When you see that happening, you go arrest the one that's doing it. It's not that difficult.
Right.
I mean, you can't be afraid of the people that are out there, or you're in the wrong position.
Right.
Right. I mean, so if you don't want that job, then get out of the way, let somebody else do it.
If you don't know what happened at the White House 2 weeks ago, check out David's video, man. He went and filmed the aftermath of it, and they defaced statues. They littered all over the place, put red paint on things. It was horrible, and there weren't any flashbangs going off either.
No.
The law enforcement didn't attack them like J6 people got attacked.
Exactly.
I mean, we were attacked. Yeah, all right. And then Northern Neck Vigil had Reed Christensen called in. I don't know, man. I might have got this mixed up. No, Reed called in Freedom Corner last night. Reed Christensen's a 65-year-old J6er. He was arrested on 4/21. He was free until September 23rd. And then he had his trial. He was found guilty. He's waiting sentencing right now in the Gulag. And they said, "Are you got to watch what you say here on the live stream?" He says, "Oh, that's all right. I wrote a book about it already." So, so Reed doesn't care, right?
Something Kid. What's the name of that?
Save the Kid.
Save the Kid
is this book that Reed Christensen wrote, and everyone who's read it, I haven't got to read it yet. I know there was a copy floating around Freedom Corner.
I think you can go SaveTheKid.com.
SaveTheKid.com. Yeah.
And that will help him also.
That would help him out.
Funds.
Reed mentioned that he's sitting pretty. He doesn't need a Give Send Go because he's a retired guy. They got a farm. They had to spend their retirement on, when I say them, I mean him and his wife, and he was taking care of his father, but his father had to go live with Reed's brother, and they're okay. They don't need any money, but I would like to support them just by buying that book and having the historical record, the mindset of somebody who went through the whole ordeal, where you saw the fraud happening, where you take a time out to go to DC, and he's from out west somewhere too. It wasn't like he just drove 2 hours and got to DC. It was a planned event that cost him a lot of money, I'm sure. Reed said he was only at J6 up at the Capitol for 30 minutes, and that he got heavily pepper sprayed. So he didn't attack anybody. He didn't pepper spray anybody back. He didn't have any weapons.
Right.
And we'll find out when his sentencing comes what they're going to give him for for just being there, for just being at the Capitol, getting attacked by pepper spray. The whole thing's horrendous. All right, and then Chris Quagland called in too last night there, Freedom Corner thing.
Yeah.
And he was talking about his lawyer woes and Greg Yetman, the J6er, that the whole manhunt, how ridiculous his manhunt was.
Yeah. That's
Greg Yetman was a J6er from New Jersey, which is why Chris was talking about him, because Chris Quagland's also from New Jersey. And Greg Yetman, the only thing that he did at J6 was he picked up a thing of pepper spray that he saw laying on the ground and sprayed some of it. You know, got some cops, got some patriots also, and I guess it was like a pepper spray battle there for a while.
Yeah.
And he went home, no problems. He's living at his house. All of a sudden, he's got FBI knocking on his front door. And he made a run for it. And he was on the run for 3 days. Greg Yetman then turned himself in while the FBI was still out flailing around in the woods and telling everybody in his neighborhood to stay locked in their house.
Right.
He turned himself into the local police. He is having an arraignment on Monday or something like that in New Jersey. So it's not going to be at the Gulag. Info that I got on that. And then, so back at Freedom Corner here. So what happened at Northern Neck was the stream went down. So I switched over and started watching Freedom Corner about midway through there. And I got, right when I tuned in was when that COVID guy was talking. There was a lady that talked there also, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Didn't catch a whole lot of what she was saying, but Coe came over and talked to me later about another story about how when they locked him up, they put him underground, like a 10 by 10 square hole in the ground with a metal covering, and the only time we got to see the daylight was when they opened it, and when they would feed them, they would take a bucket of water and just pull that metal cover back and throw a bucket of water in there, and you just had to catch as much water as you could when they threw that in there. And the same thing with food, the rice. They would take a bucket and they would just throw rice out. You had to try to catch it or pick it up off the ground or whatever. With 30 or 40 people inside one of those little 10 by 10 squares, and trying to split all that food and water. Yeah, that's just unbelievable.
That's human beings treating human beings like that. You know, I mean, if you don't believe in God and the presence of evil, there you got it right there. How can humans treat each other? Dogs don't even treat each other like that. And it's horrendous.
Yeah,
and we forget, man. We gloss over. We got our life. You turn the TV on, watch a movie, you're entertained. This is going on in the world, and it's going to come here if we don't do something about it.
It is already.
Yeah.
And
it's been many wars to keep it from coming here too, that we won, which gives us this freedom to do this. So I would highly recommend going and watching either Trooper's video on that or Dead for Freedoms. Did you put one out?
No, I didn't. Yet? I was going to. I haven't done it yet.
I mean, that's the highlight talk of the week at Freedom Corner, I would say, man. Just to understand the wickedness that we are up against right now.
Right.
Let's see. Jeff Sable called in then at the end of the night. You guys had a great national anthem last night. It sounded good.
It did sound good.
And every night, it's so cool. We're listening to the #1 Billboard J6 choir.
Yeah.
Seeing it live every night, man. That's just cool. It gives me goosebumps every single time, man. And then I like your chit chat after the national anthem too. When he goes through all the stories that he's caught up on, and you jump in, and Tammy jumps in.
Yeah, it's good. It's pretty good stuff.
So he was talking about the head of the UFO committee is stepping down.
Yeah, that's something. It's
Our
interesting.
government has a UFO committee. Yeah.
Right.
Let's see. The GOP is subpoenaing the Biden family. He was pretty stoked to hear about that. All right, and then they talk about Eric Adams, mayor of New York's cell phone and electronics were taken. Have you heard that story?
Yeah.
Raided his house and his adjutant or whatever.
His chief
Chief
fundraiser.
of staff or
Her name is Brianna Suggs.
Yep.
This chick's only 25 years old.
What?
Yes.
Scapegoat.
This is chief fundraiser. She raised $18 million for them. Okay. 25-year-old girl in New York working for Eric Adams, the mayor, raised $18 million. And they are looking into the corruption. She's nothing but somebody they throw under the bus.
Right.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
she's just
Right?
like,
Sure.
I think he's just like the Sam Bankman-Fried, that kid. You know, his parents knew exactly what all was going on and used his name for all that bull crap, and now he's locked up for years.
They threw him under the bus to get sentenced yet.
I believe so. I could be wrong. I don't know.
I think he's waiting
I think-
sentencing.
Is he?
But yeah, he was the number 2 Democrat donor underneath George Soros.
Yeah. What the heck?
So this Brianna Suggs chick, chief fundraiser, raised $18 million, and they're looking specifically at illegal donations from the Turkish government.
Yeah.
How does that make any sense?
Right.
We're talking about New York City, and the Turkish government is contributing to somebody who's running for mayor in
New York.
New York.
Yeah.
Like, what's up with that? How
I
do we
think we're-
stop that stuff?
We do seem to be learning a lot of stuff lately, like all the 2020 election fraud that's all coming out. There's a case going on in Georgia that's still from the 2020 election that's all of a sudden the defense of that Fulton County withdrew.
They all quit.
They quit.
Yeah,
They
I
seen
think a
what's
lot
going
of-
on.
A
jumping
lot
ship.
of this also is kickbacks. 'Cause all those motels and stuff that all the illegals are staying in,
Yeah.
Yeah,
paying millions of dollars a day.
yeah.
I think they're owned by somebody in Turkey. So
Really?
they're getting a kickback.
Good
Could
possibility.
be where that
They're
$18
making
million
the money.
that the 25-year-old raised.
That's
Right.
a good possibility. That's an interesting
You
take.
know?
Yeah. Did you guys hear about the fentanyl that was sent to
Oh,
election
yeah.
offices
To
election
in 5
officials.
states
What is
with a
happening?
note that said, "End the elections now.
Hmm.
We're done with the Republicans. We don't need them anymore."
Wow.
That's what the note said in them.
Hmm.
Now, I'm not sure that they tested all these ones, but there was 5 states where fentanyl letters showed up shortly
So,
before the election.
if you send fentanyl in an envelope and they accidentally just touch just a little bit of it,
Yeah.
it's going to kill them.
Right.
So what good is the note do to leave them? I mean, none of it makes
Why
any
send a
sense.
note?
I don't get it. Why send a note if they're probably going to die from opening the envelope anyway?
All right. So is there some dumb Democrats out there that did this, or is this some kind of a psyop? It's just so confusing these days, man.
Yes, it
So
is.
confusing. I just watched a Joe Rogan where they're talking about Twitter and how much the effects on people that get all wound up in Twitter is like an effect that a drug has on people.
Right.
And so it's kind of like a drug without having to administer a drug. And it's like people are getting into this socialization dialogue in Twitter. And it's totally different than me sitting here talking to you in lawn chairs, And it's a form of a mind virus that's starting to take over people. So Twitter is a drug. We just haven't proved it yet. But the evidence is out there, man. Be careful. Beware the Twitterverse. Don't take health advice from people who think the world is overpopulated. That's a good thing. I mean, every one of these guys trying to sell us vaccines have been out there saying we got too many people on the planet.
Right. Yeah, they got to knock it down to 500 million, right?
500 million.
That's sustainability.
We just hit
the whole Earth only. What did I say? It was
it just hit
4% of
8
the
billion.
Earth's surface is humans on it.
Right.
The rest is open.
Right.
So
Wow.
how could we be overpopulated?
Yeah, we're not.
It's a lie.
Do you ever drive out west? I mean,
Right.
You
Yeah.
ever go to North Dakota?
Yeah.
I
North
mean,
Dakota.
you go out
look at-
there,
you
you're
could fit
hoping
a
you
billion people in North Dakota. We'd still have South Dakota.
we still have tons of space.
Right. Right. All right. And so we're in the news now. There was this Senator Marsha Blackburn. She's one of the members of the Senate Judiciary Committee. I reported yesterday that she put out a subpoena for Epstein's flight log. Well, I heard it gets way, way better. She said, while we're putting out subpoenas, we're going to subpoena Supreme Court Justice Sotomayor's staff.
Oh, wow.
I don't know exactly if that was for the Roe versus Wade leak that happened or not. She's going to subpoena Xavier Becerra, and he's the guy who's in charge of 85,000 children that went missing, that crossed the border. They have totally lost tabs on 85,000 illegal immigrant children that have come. So she's going to subpoena them for all the records. She's going to subpoena the DOJ and which all the paperwork having to do with terminating the China initiative that Trump had all set up, nice and tied up with a bow when he left office. And Joe Biden FJB came in and reversed the China initiative.
Right.
And next thing you know, we got a Chinese-run brothel running right around Washington, D.C. there, right?
Yeah, exactly.
How about that? And that they only estimate that was only running.
Just for Hunter, I believe. Party down there.
Yeah.
I wonder if it didn't stem from that investigation. You know, you never know.
Possibly. She's going to also subpoena Mueller's staff's political donations. The people that worked for Mueller have apparently made some real sketchy political donations, and this is a way that they do it. You know, the guy, how many people that are in office now, their wives or their family members donate to political causes? Judges are guilty of that too, man. They're finding out about that Engeron guy's wife.
Yeah.
She's been donating
Out there
a bunch of money.
Yeah, and she's been tweeting and stuff about how she hates Trump and this and that, and
Yeah.
but yet he's got a gag order on Trump. His little wife's allowed to do it, but Trump's not allowed to say anything bad about anybody.
But he could shut
Double
shut
standards.
Trump up because he's got power. So I just don't get why this New York case is still going on. You know, how is every lawyer, every judge in the whole country not, screaming from the rooftops about this thing?
Right.
It's corrupt. And then Marsha Blackburn is also going to put out a subpoena to the DOJ for all the FTC censoring on Twitter during the 2020 election. So, man, that's a powder keg there, man.
Right.
More power to why don't we give a call to Marsha Blackburn and encourage her on there.
Tell her thank you.
Tell her thank you and call your senator and say back her up.
Right.
But who knows, man? So far, nothing but talk. All talk. Okay, and then yesterday we reported about the embedded journalists with the Hamas
Yeah. What is up with
terrorists while they were attacking Israel. There were apparently embedded journalists with them that went along with them. And somebody got my chat and said, yeah, there was only one guy that was with an agency. Well, just this morning on the reesereport.com, this is a guy who does reports on Alex Jones's channel and stuff, but this is Greg Reese. He's a whole different guy. reesereport.com reported that Reuters, Associated Press, New York Times, and CNN had embedded journalists with Hamas.
But I believe CNN fired the guy.
The guy
Did
that was in.
They embedded him, then they fired him to make it look like, hey, he wasn't supposed to be there.
Oh, you heard this?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't hear that
They
yet.
fired him, but you know,
What about New York Times?
no, this is just CNN. They
Reuters.
fired the guy, but you know what the hell is he doing with Hamas if he's not with CNN? It just made them look like, hey, he wasn't with us, you know.
And just photographing the torture and murder of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, disgusting.
I mean, where is your humanity? You know, you want to get the scoop, you want to get the story, but
You don't want to be part of it. You don't want to
Yeah,
be
but, you know,
an accessory.
They made it look like he did this all off on his own, and you know, what the heck? He was with CNN. They ought to know what he's doing, where he's located, what he's.
yeah.
You know, unless he's a renegade or something.
I'm thinking Reuters and New York Times paid a lot of money to have guys in.
Oh, sure.
And Hamas would have taken their money for sure, just to.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
But to be able to, that's non-human. You know, to be able to watch what they just did to all them people. Yeah, man, torture is way worse than death. So in this Reese report, they were intelligence. They had embedded journalists with Hamas. They were intelligence operatives, is what his theory is. These guys weren't just reporters or journalists. They were actually CIA. And then Greg Reese goes into the 1975 House Intelligence Committee hearing where the CIA was being questioned by Congress, and it came out that the CIA pays people in the mainstream media to manipulate the media. Okay.
Yep.
This information is from 1975. So they've been doing this now for
longer than I'm alive.
Getting on 50 years.
Yeah,
now.
close to it, 48.
And sleepy Americans, we just hit the snooze alarm and we don't care about it. It's in our face right now, America. It's in our face right now.
Yes,
Osama bin Laden was a guy named Tim Osman.
Yep.
CIA created Al Qaeda. There's an Israeli guy in the Israeli government, Avi Primor, and Hamas, who said Hamas is the Israeli government. Okay, they created it, man. Ron Paul, Senator Rand Paul's father, when he was in office, he also mentioned this stuff about we're creating the terrorists. Okay, we're funding them. We're allowing them the space to be created and stuff.
Oh, we did away with Osama bin Laden.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He was fighting against the Russians. So we were
feeding them money, giving them guns.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know.
I'm about done with these spooks, man. Going around causing problems for Americans all over the country. I don't know.
We got the Congress investigating the FBI, and the FBI now investigating Congress, congressional members. Who's going to win over that? Like, who has the ultimate authority over the other? Because Congress can't arrest nobody, can't do any of that.
So they have the DOJ. They just refer them to the DOJ.
Yeah, in which the FBI works for the DOJ. So what the heck?
What good is that?
Yeah,
what good is it?
Right.
What are we doing here?
Well, they all work for we the people.
Yeah, they all work for us, but they're taking us out because we're the threat to them.
Yeah.
We're the threat to them, and they're supposed to be working for us. How does any of that make sense?
And every time they want to make a new law to, like the Patriot Act, oh, here, America, you need this Patriot Act to keep the FBI and CIA attacks from happening on us. And then they turn the Patriot Act against us and starting throwing people in jail for going to school board meetings or going to Latin mass,
I think it's my camera chilled. I don't usually use this laptop. It's not got the best camera, so that's probably why it looks blurred.
Yeah, who's got the better picture, me or David?
You definitely do.
I do.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see.
Did you clean your lens?
Yeah, I cleaned it yesterday. It's just it's supposed to be an HD camera, but see how blurry it is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's really bad. So I'll probably have to use my other laptop from now on. But That's
We're
right.
figuring it out one step at a time.
Hopefully
here.
the Rumble will get their platform up soon, and it'll have a good way to do it.
Right.
Just do it all right from your phone, and it'd be easy, hopefully.
Yeah, so David's talk about this new Rumble platform that's going to come out. So you guys will be looking into that for sure, right?
Yeah, as soon
We're
as
on
we,
the waiting list.
we're on the waiting list.
You're already on the waiting list. There you go, Patriots. There you
It
go.
might,
We're getting it done.
They might close down YouTube.
Yeah.
I would love to close YouTube down, man.
You might have to switch
YouTube
over.
sucks.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's about all I got, man.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's about all I got. I want to share this. I don't know if you guys have seen this video or not. I'm gonna play this video for you about why the guys. I don't know if this is exactly why the guys scream "Still There" when we sing the national anthem or not. If they haven't seen this, this explains a lot why the "Still There" is so important in the Star Spangled Banner. So I'm just gonna play that for you guys and let you check that out before we head out. Oh, there it is. Add the stage. And play.
Look at the sophistication here. David's got it going on. Just like that, he can play you a video.
I'm going to show you how to play videos on your phone.
So, can they hear us on your stream right now?
There was a lawyer once. His name was Francis Scott Key.
I can, yeah.
He penned a song that I'm sure you're aware of. You've seen it. It's in most hymnals throughout our churches. It's called the national anthem. It is our song as an American. We go, however, to a ball game. We stand in our church services and we sing the words of that song, and they float over our minds and our lips, and we don't even realize what we're singing. Most of us have memorized it as a child, but we've never really thought about what it means. Let me tell you a story. Francis Scott Key was a lawyer in Baltimore. The colonies were engaged in vicious conflict with the mother country, Britain. Because of this conflict and the protractedness of it, they had accumulated prisoners on both sides. The American colonies had prisoners and the British had prisoners. And the American government initiated a move. They went to the British and they said, let us negotiate for the release of these prisoners. They said, we want to send a man out to discuss this with you. They were holding the American prisoners in boats about 1,000 yards offshore. And they said, we want to send a man by the name of Francis Scott Key. He will come out and negotiate to see if we can make a mutual exchange. On the appointed day, in a rowboat, he went out to this boat and he negotiated with the British officials. And they reached a conclusion that men could be exchanged on a one-for-one basis. Francis Scott Key, jubilant with the fact that he'd been successful, went down below in the boats, and what he found was a cargo hold full of humanity, men. And he said, men, I've got news for you tonight. You're free. He said, tonight I have negotiated successfully your return to the colonies. He said, you'll be taken out of this boat, out of this filth, out of your chains. As he went back up on board to arrange for their passage to the shore, the admiral came and he said, we have a slight problem. He said, we will still honor our commitment to release these men, but it'll be merely academic after tonight. It won't matter. And Francis Scott Key said, what do you mean? He said, well, Mr. Key, he said, tonight we have laid an ultimatum upon the colonies. Your people will either capitulate and lay down the colors of that flag that you think so much of, or you see that fort right over there, Fort Henry? He said, we're going to remove it from the face of the earth. He said, how are you going to do that? He said, if you will, scan the horizon of the sea. And as he looked, he could see hundreds of little dots. And he said, that's the entire British war fleet. He said, all of the gunpowder, all of the armament is being called upon to demolish that fort. It will be here within striking distance in a matter of about 2.5 hours. He said, the war is over. These men would be free anyway. He said, you can't shell that fort. He said, that's a large fort. He said, it's full of women and children. He says, it's predominantly not a military fort. He said, don't worry about it. They said, we've left them a way out. And he said, what's that? He said, do you see that flag way up on the rampart? He said, we have told them that if they will lower that flag, the shelling will stop immediately. And we'll know that they've surrendered, and you'll now be under British rule. Francis Scott Key went down below and told the men what was about to happen. And they said, how many ships? He said, hundreds. The ships got closer. Francis Scott Key went back up on top and he said, men, I'll shout down to you what's going on as we watch. As twilight began to fall, and as the haze hung over the ocean as it does at sunset, suddenly the British war fleet unleashed. He says the sound was deafening. There were so many guns that there were no reliefs. He said it was absolutely impossible to talk or hear. He said suddenly the sky, although dark, was suddenly lit. And he says from down below, all he could hear the men, the prisoners, saying was, tell us where the flag is. What have they done with the flag? Is the flag still flying over the rampart? Tell us. 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours into the shelling, every time the bomb would explode and it would be close to the flag, they could see the flag in the illuminated red glare of that bomb, and Francis Scott Key would report down to the men below, it's still up. It's not down. The admiral came and he said, your people are insane. He said, what's the matter with them? He said, don't they understand this is an impossible situation? Francis Scott Key said he remembered what George Washington had said. He said the thing that sets the American Christian apart from all other people in the world is he will die on his feet before he'll live on his knees. The admiral said, we have now instructed all of the guns to focus on the rampart to take that flag down. He said, we don't understand something. Our reconnaissance tells us that that flag has been hit directly again and again and again, and yet it's still flying. We don't understand that. But he said, now we're about to bring every gun for the next 3 hours to bear on that point. Francis Scott Key said the barrage was unmerciful. All that he could hear was the men down below praying. The prayer, God, keep that flag flying where we last saw it. Sunrise came. He said there was a heavy mist hanging over the land, but the rampart was tall enough. There stood the flag, completely nondescript, in shreds. The flagpole itself was at a crazy angle, but the flag was still at the top. Francis Scott Key went aboard and immediately went into Fort Henry to see what had happened. And what he'd found had happened was that that flagpole and that flag had suffered repetitious direct hits. And when hit had fallen, but men, fathers, who knew what it meant for that flag to be on the ground, although knowing that all of the British guns were trained on it, walked over and held it up humanly until they died. Their bodies were removed and others took their place. Francis Scott Key said what held that flagpole in place at that unusual angle were patriots' bodies. He penned the song, "Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming? Or the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that the flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet fly and wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. The debt was demanded, the price it was paid.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets break clear, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
All right, guys. So there you go. We'll see you here in a little. Actually, if you guys want to know who that was telling that story, his name is Dr. David Gibbs, and I put a link to a video here. I'll show you the real quick. Just real quick. He is really good. I listened to it last night. You guys should take a look at it if you get a chance. Anyways, it is called If My People. That's a good point in there. I'm not going to play it. Anyway, and 45. We love you guys. Thank you. And I'll have to start using the computer to be on these screens for figure out my phone as camera, the screen. Guys, Freedom Warriors out.